Ah, don't want to talk
What a
about it.
game. What a game.
What a
Yeah,
game.
whatever.
Anyway, welcome to the second episode of JTB Sports. This week's episode, we're just going to be basically covering or recapping all the games from week one. So, with that being said, let's get right into it. Let's start with the Cowboys at the Buccaneers. What a way to start the season. I got to say, what a game to start the season.
No kidding.
Yeah, Cowboys did not expect the Cowboys to keep up with the Buccaneers like I did. Like, yeah,
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I thought Dak was gonna come back off of that ankle injury like really bad, but holy smokes, he didn't miss a beat. Just right back into it. And despite how terrible their defense was, they still hung in it with the Super Bowl champions. So
Now, we can give a lot of that credit to the Buccaneers running backs and receivers not knowing how to hold on to the ball. That
yeah,
and something that really disturbed me with the Cowboys offense is I know Zeke Elliott isn't what he once was, like in 2018, but the fact that this is his first game back after his massive ankle injury last year, and they made him throw almost 60 times.
I am.
It's like, where
Not
the
to
hell's the
mention,
run game, fellas?
not just his ankle, but in the preseason, he's been dealing with a weird shoulder injury.
That's right, yeah.
So right out the gate, he throws for 58 times, and Zeke only gets the ball 11 times for
Jeez.
33 yards. The passing game did work for them, but that's crazy how much they relied on it. I didn't expect that. I thought Zeke would at least maybe get to 20, but yeah.
yeah, I think we're getting to the point now where Zeke played pretty bad last year, and I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna call him washed pretty soon here. Not quite, but a few more bad performances and Zeke is washed in my eyes.
Damn, that's harsh. I gotta say, that's a little harsh. I mean, I know he had 6 fumbles last year, but goddamn.
He was not good last year. He was not.
He's
Now,
certainly not living up to that contract he's got.
Yeah.
So
And another thing, he has like the best offensive line in the game, or one of the best. So I think he's overhyped. A few more bad performances. I'm calling him washed.
damn. Let's think for a minute that the Cowboys damn well could have won that game. Like,
for
they
sure.
lost by 2 points, right? And to think,
Yep.
if that bonehead Greg Zerline had made those 2 extra points in that field goal, they would have won 34-31. It's unbelievable. Actually, yeah, 2 field goals and 1 extra point. My bad. But that's 7 points off the board because the kicker couldn't kick worth shit. And
Dude,
most Cowboys
Yeah.
fans, most Cowboys fans, I guarantee are gonna say, "Oh, the reason we lost was that bullshit offensive pass interference that wasn't called with less than a minute in the game." Now, I probably not the only one who thinks this, but I feel like even if they made that call, the Cowboys secondary is so bad that they just would have immediately given up like a 25-yard pass play, even if they had called that penalty.
most likely.
Yeah.
But yeah, with Zerloin, and all kickers who can't do their job. They're the living embodiment of you only had one job.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, do we want to move on to the next game?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Let me see here. We got the Jaguars at the Texans. Mr. number 1 overall pick's debut of getting his ass kicked, throwing for 3 touchdowns but 3 interceptions. There's a lot of rumors going around that Urban Meyer is just garbage. Like, not a garbage or piece of garbage human being, but it's he can't coach with shit in professional is what I've heard. But if any game was gonna make that evident, that was this, because it's not like the Texans are a good team, not at all. In fact, most people, including myself, a couple weeks ago, thought that the Texans were going to be the worst team in the league. And I don't know if I can say that after this game. Not because the Texans are good, just because the Jaguars just played like such putrid ass.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expected the Texans to be the only team in the AFC South with a win after this opening week. Yeah, I mean, Tyrod Taylor came out to play. Brandon Cooks had a good game. The Jaguars on defense just looked completely lost. They couldn't do anything right. And then, of course, Lawrence, his first NFL game, struggled with those 3 interceptions. And on top of the Urban Meyer stuff, there's also rumors that, like, I mean, it's probably not true, but that he's just not ready for the NFL. And there's like college coaching openings. He might leave the
With
Jaguars.
USC, yeah. It's like,
Yeah,
goddamn.
yeah.
Obviously, that has to be a rumor. There's no way that's actually true, but still.
Yeah.
I've heard like his players like talking to the media about how he coaches like a college coach. Like
That shit does not fly in the NFL. How many times have coaches been hired from college and then get completely exposed? Like, you guys remember Chip Kelly?
Yeah.
That's probably the last big one that I can think of. Where he was successful his first 2 seasons, and then after that, he got completely exposed.
Mm-hmm. That's how it goes.
Yeah. But yeah, I wasn't expecting a blowout. 37-21 was the final score, I believe. Yeah. So certainly unexpected, but I think these teams should still be very, very bad teams this year. It's kind of like a tank bowl, if you will.
A
week
tank
1.
bowl in week 1. I didn't think it would happen that fast.
I mean, like, yeah, if we're being honest, the Texans will probably win like 2 or 3 more games, if that. So
yeah. But at least for a week.
They get 2 guaranteed wins against Jacksonville.
I thought Jacksonville was going to win, honestly. I was super surprised.
I thought if any game, because I knew Jacksonville was still going to suck this year, but if any game they were going to win, this was certainly one of those winnable games, and they made the Texans look like Super Bowl contenders. The team everybody said was going to be the worst in the league. Good job, Jacksonville. You made them look like Super Bowl contenders.
Love to see it.
Love to see it, yeah.
Okay. So next we have the Seahawks at the Colts. I expected this one to be a little closer. I take that back. I expected it to be a lot closer. What the hell, Colts? What the hell was up with that vaunted defense?
Yeah.
Just getting walked on by Russell Wilson and the Seahawks offense. Granted, I know the Seahawks offense is pretty good, but to just get to just completely bend over like that, like the fuck.
Yeah, for sure. Russell Wilson, he's been there and done that, Super Bowl champion, and he just made it look easy against that Colts defense. One of the best defenses in the league last year, still expected to be a really good defense this year. But there's some plays during this game where there's blown coverages. Tyler Lockett had a few big bombs of catches that just basically made it impossible for the Colts to come back. So, yeah. But I would say that we were kind of unsure if Carson Wentz and Quentin Nelson would play in this game, but they did play. They both had those injuries, the same exact injury coming out of the preseason, but they both made the debut. And Wentz didn't play too terrible, I didn't think.
Yeah, he had a decent stat line at 25 completions, 250 yards, and 2 touchdowns with no picks. So, I mean,
yeah,
not bad. Then again, it's the Seahawks defense, so it's not like it's that hard to put up points on that. But
yeah.
And you know, mainly, oh, sorry, Brett. Keep going.
I was just going to say, looking more closely at the stat line, I guess it was the running backs, Taylor and Hines, kind of getting more of the workload there on the receiving game. So there were, now that I think, there were a few, just running back screens and checkdowns probably here and there that probably made the stat line look a bit better for Wentz. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, and when you think about it, I bet most Colts fans did not expect to win that game. If I'm a Colts fan right now, I'm encouraged because nobody knew what Carson Wentz would do because he was just terrible the past few seasons. After
Mhm.
that one really good season, his fundamentals were awful, but he looked like a solid like starting NFL quarterback in week one. And so like despite the loss, if I'm a Colts fan, I'm excited.
Yeah, not much more to add, like what you said. I don't know. I still expected this game to be a little closer. I could have even seen an upset here because although Carson Wentz was kind of 50-50, I just I thought if any team could pull off an upset, it's the Colts. But I guess I don't know. I probably shouldn't be that surprised that they lost.
And I
Anyway,
get it.
moving on.
Yeah.
The Eagles and the Falcons. Now, I knew both of these teams. I feel like both of these teams, especially Atlanta, are gonna suck this year. But I still expected it to be a little closer. I did not think the Falcons were gonna come out and completely shit the bed with their new offensive weapons, because it's not like Philly's defense is that great, and they made Jalen Hurts. I mean, I know it's Atlanta's defense, but they made Jalen Hurts look like a god.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. I did not expect a blowout like this. Going back to our predictions and our last podcast episode. I thought the Falcons at least this year could be kind of a competitive team. I knew they would still maybe not be a playoff team, but they can maybe compete there for maybe the seventh seed for that final wildcard team. But yeah, after this game, I'm not sure anymore because Matt Ryan just looked terrible. The offense could not get anything clicking, and yeah, like you said, Jalen Hurts was just popping off. He couldn't. No defense could stop him that day, and um, certainly, the Falcons did not show up.
Matt
Yeah,
Ryan
and
didn't even have 200 yards passing. Hell, he didn't even have 170 yards passing.
I said it on the first podcast. I think the Falcons, like this is just what they do. They're one of the most hot and cold teams in the NFL. What I expect to happen is a pretty decent losing streak after this now, followed by a winning streak. You guys just wait and see, all right?
I know exactly what you're saying. They're gonna lose enough games to where they're out of playoff contention by like week 8, and then even though they're already out, and the best thing to do at that point would be lose more to get a better draft pick. They're just gonna start randomly winning games to ruin their draft capital.
Exactly.
They did
Exactly.
that in 2018 and 2019. They did that because 2019 they started out 1-7 and then they finished 7-9.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, and just one more point I'd like to make. I really like Jalen Hurts. I know you were saying they made him look really good, but I think he is really good. So I suppose we'll see.
I don't hate him
Yeah,
as much as other people do. I just think he kind of makes me think of Tua Tagovailoa. He's
Sure.
just kind of a little inconsistent here and there.
Mhm.
But I think he
yeah,
can develop into a good quarterback. Honestly, I might even have him higher than Tua, just because I'm not the biggest Tua fan, but we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
yeah.
So next up, we have the Chargers at the Washington football team. This game is I probably have seen the least from this game. I know that Fitzpatrick got hurt and that the
Yep.
Chargers won. Basically, that's all I really know from it.
Yeah, kind of the same boat as you. I maybe watched a few highlight plays here and there that I just saw on social media, but yeah, I only really know that Fitzpatrick got hurt, and that's about it. So,
Yeah, I mean, I kind of followed the game a little bit. So I'll say some stuff. Um, First of all, I don't think the Chargers even looked all of that good. I think from what I've heard, the football team kind of threw the game away. Um,
Hmm.
I'm not for sure, but that's kind of what I've been hearing. But besides that, after Fitzpatrick got hurt and Taylor Heineke came in, they seemed to do better, which I'm honestly not
You
surprised
told me
by.
about that.
Yeah, because you guys, like, we all saw Heineke play in the playoffs last year. He looked good.
Yeah, pretty damn good effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he held his own pretty well.
And so my prediction, evidently Fitzpatrick gets a hip injury and he'll be out like 6 to 8 weeks. I think this will be a blessing in disguise because Heineke will take over as the guy, and I think he's gonna um, kind of be a sleeper this year. He might kind of blow up a little bit. So
Good. Yeah, I feel bad, but I this is like one of the least interesting games to me. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't watch that much from it because I expected
yeah,
the Chargers to win and they won.
and I mean it's good to see the Chargers beating like a playoff team and them winning a close game too.
Yeah, playoff team, a
Yeah,
7-9 playoff team.
a playoff
What
team.
a great
The play,
accomplishment.
it's a playoff team regardless.
Yes, but yeah, it's
Washington playoff team.
yes.
That should be their new name.
Let's do it.
But yeah,
Anyway,
it's yeah, just one final note. It's nice to see them win a close game because they
yeah,
couldn't
because
do
they
that
were
last time.
abysmal at that last year. I can't remember
Yes.
how many of their losses, like, where they were either blown leads or games that came down to the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had
For
so
sure.
many. Yeah,
Maybe they'll turn it around. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah,
we'll see.
maybe Justin Herbert can become a playoff quarterback this year.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
Anyway, moving on, we have the Steelers at the Bills. Was a shocker. I don't think anybody, including myself, gave the Steelers any shot, considering how horribly they ended their season last year. And although the Bills did not make the Super Bowl, they still had a pretty good run in the playoffs. So I was shocked at this, especially considering the Bills were winning most of the game. Like going into halftime, the score was 10-0, and the Steelers' offense were what they thought they were. They couldn't do anything at all. Ben Roethlisberger looked like shit, just like he did it last year. And honestly, their offense didn't even perform that well in this game because I don't think Roethlisberger even had 200 yards passing. It was the defense that completely carried them.
Yeah, very shocking game. With the Bills having a 10-0 lead into going into halftime, and then coming out of halftime, that Steelers defense, especially T.J. Watt, just was flustering Josh Allen. They couldn't get anything going on the offensive side of the ball, and they just kind of slowly but surely let the Steelers come back and just snag this game underneath from them. So
Yeah. I mean, like we all know how good the Steelers defense is, so there's always like a chance they can win any game. But
To
I'm
think
in
they
the
could
same,
stop an offense as good as the Bills,
yeah.
considering
And
how great the Bills' offense last year, and they just completely shut them down.
yeah. And so
yeah,
they had to have that happen, plus their terrible offense had to do something, and that both of those things happened. So
Damn
yeah.
fucking Steelers. Had to be the. I wouldn't mind if it were any other team, but was the fucking Steelers.
I don't see this being a recurring thing, though. It'll
I hope
probably just
not.
be a
I
fluke.
really hope not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just hope this is a fluke and that Big Ben is gonna go back down the toilet like he did at the end of last season.
I'd like to add that. So I know this is Josh Allen, going up a really good Steelers defense, but kind of people have been talking about, is Josh Allen going to regress this year
Because he
after
got
the great
that
season?
contract. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
he got. Yeah, no, but yeah, you're right. He got the contract, and they made a great run last year. Almost hung in there against the Chiefs in the championship game last year, but yeah, people think maybe Allen could regress. I guess remains to be seen because they played a good defense. But I don't know. He could potentially regress this year. Maybe they don't do as well as many people think they do. So
See, there's a habit or a trend of our players getting a massive contract and then playing like shit afterwards. That just seems to be a recurring theme. The last time I remember, I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a few, or I guarantee I'm missing a few, but the last super contract given out, I remember, where the player completely regressed the following season was Jared Goff, when the Rams signed like 128 million 7-year deal, and then
yeah,
2019 and 2020 he wasn't it. He's like Carson Palmer at best.
Yeah. And I see
Yeah.
like two reasons for that potentially. Number one would be, okay, I just got a huge contract. I'm under a lot of pressure to live up to it now. There's that possibility. Then there's also like if a player is super money motivated, they might be like, all right, I got
I
what I
got what
came
I
here for.
wanted. Now I don't have to try as hard because I get all
Exactly.
this guaranteed money.
And
There's
with
an
Goff, I think it's because he was under pressure.
that,
Doesn't it
and
kind of seem like that?
I think it's mainly because Goff was good when he had a really good supporting cast in 2018, right? And because they gave all that money to Goff, they had to like cut people to make up for the or get cap space, and they more or less took away his super supporting cast. And they just thought because they paid him so much that they could rely on him more, and clearly that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they do, they got rid of Gurley, and then they traded Brandon Cooks, and they had
They
that
lost
other running back.
Ndamukong.
Yep, they lost him. So yeah, I think that's a good compare. Maybe maybe it could be maybe we could see that happen with Allen. I don't think it'd be that bad. I think Allen will be fine. For, generally be fine for this season and throughout the rest of his career, but I think maybe he regresses overall from last year. So
Yeah, makes sense.
Mhm.
Anyway, next game. This was a wild one. 49ers at Lions. Now, again, I
yeah,
didn't see much from this. I just remember when the game first started, like, I can't remember. I think the 49ers got the ball first. Either way, Jimmy Garoppolo fumbled his first snap with them. And then they immediately put in Trey Lance after that. And I know they didn't keep Trey Lance in the game, but I thought, damn, Shanahan, that is really harsh. That is really fucking harsh. Like, oh, you fucked up once. Go fuck yourself. Get off my fucking team.
The
Go sit down.
whole offseason, Shanahan was like hyping him up to. He's like, he's a fighter. He's not giving up that job. He's not giving it up. One fumble. All right.
Yep, go sit
Give it to
down.
him.
I know Trey Lance only came in for that one play, which was a touchdown, and Jimmy G
yeah,
played the rest of the game. But initially, I thought when they put Trey Lance in, I thought, God damn, are they actually gonna bench him after one fuck up? Anyway, they didn't. They didn't. But I still thought that was pretty harsh on Shanahan's part.
Yeah.
yeah. This was a interesting game because 49ers had complete control over the Lions.
They were up by like 28 at one
was-
point,
Yeah, it was 31-10 going into halftime,
and it
and
was
then
38-10 at one point. I know.
yeah, and then the Lions in the fourth quarter, out of kind of just nowhere, they score 16 points, and they have a chance to tie it up with a 2-point conversion on their final drive, but Goff just like throws it away. I think on fourth down.
They were down by 8 because it was 41-33. And well, first of all, I should mention San Francisco had the ball and was just running out the clock. It was like 3rd and 7 or something. And they did a pass play, which is a little risky if you're trying to run the clock, but it worked because the receiver caught it. He got past the first down marker, and then he fumbled the ball, and the Lions got it back. Now, it didn't matter because the Lions ended up not scoring. Otherwise, we might have a different story here. But what the hell was that, San Fran? Like, the fact that you were up by 28 and you nearly completely blew it away. I don't know what the hell that was about.
I don't know.
Like, are you
I
trying to?
couldn't believe it.
Oh no. I get it now. See, Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for the Falcons when they blew that 28-3 lead. So I guess old habits don't die hard.
We figured it out.
Yeah, we cracked the code.
But yeah, anyway, I honestly could not believe it. I was looking through the scores during the day and saw that they were absolutely destroying the Lions, and I'm like, uh, I kind of expected something like that to happen. And then, like at the end of the Vikings game, they pull up the all the scores around the league, and I see that the Lions are down 1 touchdown, and they have the ball. I'm like, what happened? How in the world did Goff and the Lions come back? But
Yeah, Goff's stat line 38 of 57, 338 yards, 3 touchdowns. So he nearly threw him back into the game, but they ultimately couldn't get it done. But yeah, that was crazy.
I wonder if anybody started him on their fantasy team. Probably not. But if they did, they probably won that week.
Someone picked him up in our league. I don't remember who though.
Yeah. Oh well.
Okay, now time for the cream of the crop. The best game of the week was the Vikings at the Bengals. My God, what a game that was. What an absolutely fan-fucking-tastic game that was. I can't say I was enjoying myself the entire time, but by God, when they kicked that game-winning field goal, I was jumping up and down as if I were 5 years old.
Dude, I just can't express how painful it is to be a Minnesota sports fan. I've already gone on the rant. I got it all out of my system already in the Discord chat. There's not much more to say than just pain.
Yeah, pain.
Except for the record, real quick, sorry, Brett. I did get the prediction right. I did predict that the Bengals would win. And
yeah,
I'll take
that's
that
true.
W.
I guess I lost because I predicted they'd lose. I thought they were just going to come out and get their asses kicked because they have an act for doing that in opening day. But all things considered, I think Cincinnati looked pretty good, except for their offensive line again because Joe Burrow got sacked 5 times and he got hit 7 times. So I guess Zach Taylor and Mike Brown still have their heads in the sand over that, and I really don't want to. I wouldn't be that concerned, or I would be a little bit less concerned. But there was a part after, like in the third or fourth quarter, where Burrow got hit, and he got back up limping. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Is this seriously gonna happen again? I mean, they weren't starting the second round O linemen we drafted, but constant. It's just, come on. Get your fucking heads out of the sand and do something about this. I know the Vikings have a good pass rush, but you can't really use that excuse because every team in our division has a good pass rush. Except for maybe the Ravens. I don't know. But the Browns have Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett, and we already talked about TJ Watt and the Steelers. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd also like to mention the fact that I still hate Zach Taylor, and I think he's a fucking moron because the game should have never been that close because Zach Taylor, for some reason, up by 14, thought it was a good idea to go for it on 4th and 1 from our own fucking 30. You know, I haven't told you guys this yet, but I'm really, really getting Bill O'Brien vibes from this. I feel like the reason Cincinnati won was because of the players. The players bailed out his awful coaching.
All he's got to do is just trade Joe Burrow for like freaking Gardner Minshew or something, and there's
God! Don't even start with that shit.
There's the Bill O'Brien package right there.
I don't want to. Anyway, that's not it though. So if you remember, late in overtime, they threw that play action pass to C.J. Uzama, the tight end, and that's what put the Bengals in field goal range. That wasn't the original play call. Joe Burrow audibled to that Because I'm pretty sure Zach Taylor had them just running another up the gut play because that worked so well the first like 5 fucking times you did it. God, what an idiot.
I wish he did it.
He is
We
holding
would
them
have.
back.
We would
I'm
have stopped
already
him.
convinced that Zach Taylor is holding that team back. If they're going to go anywhere this season, it's because the players are going to carry them. Which, speaking, now that I'm talking about the players, I should get this off my chest. I take back all the shit I said about Jamar Chase. When it came down to
Oh,
it, he looked pretty
of
damn
course
good.
you do.
And now I'm going to say this. I think Jamar Chase could be our Justin Jefferson. Now, I might
Oh,
only be
okay.
thinking that because he did that dance in the end zone after he scored that 50-yard bomb. But I feel like he does actually have potential to be pretty good.
What do you think, Brett?
This whole game was just frustrating to watch. The Vikings, they had so many penalties, and it was like, I swear, I think every offensive lineman had like two penalties on them. It was either a false start or
All
a
those
holding.
false starts and holdings was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't know. It's just frustrating. The penalties killed us. Yeah, and then I mean, for Thomas's perspective, watching your team give up that lead you had built up,
That was
where
pretty
somehow,
frustrating too. When had a 14-point lead, and because people don't mention the fact that Cincinnati does this a lot too. Like when people think of blown leads, they either think of the Falcons or the Chargers. But
yeah,
last year, Cincinnati had a lot of blown leads too, because Zach Taylor apparently doesn't know how to close a game. So yes, if it makes you feel any better, I was pretty damn frustrated when we proceeded to blow that 14-point lead in the second half. I swear to God, I knew they were going to do something like that. I knew there's no way it can be this easy. It's just never easy watching this team.
and of
You know,
course the Vikings, they get your hopes up. They reel you back in because this game is a game at least everyone's predicting the Vikings should win. The Bengals are underdogs at home. The Vikings are shooting themselves in the foot constantly with the penalties. Then they slowly start coming back. They hit that field goal to send it to overtime. And then the Bengals, you got a chance to go down and kick the game-winning field goal. And then Cook fumbled the ball when he was down by contact, or when he wasn't down by contact. And then the Bengals, they get it, and then their rookie kicker kicks the game-winning
Now
field
I'm
goal.
gonna say I'm gonna say yes, that was a questionable call, but I don't feel that bad because Minnesota should have never been in that situation to begin with.
Yeah, they shouldn't have.
here's the thing. So, first of all, before I get into the Vikings, I just want to add a comment about Chase. Yeah, I think, he could definitely be your guys' Justin Jefferson. Both the LSU boys being stars set in the NFL could definitely happen. All right, but anyway, into the Vikings now. So first of all, yeah, I mean, on both a small and large scale, the Vikings reel you in and then disappoint you because by large scale, I mean like for the whole season, like in the off season, they'll get a bunch of good defensive players. They'll get their whole roster stacked again, and then they'll be like, "Oh, look at that! We're looking like Super Bowl contenders. We got everything we need. Zimmer's the defensive-minded guy. He'll give us that top defense again. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're making it far in the playoffs." And then completely just like, what was this performance week one? What was that? We I cannot fathom how year in and year out we have one of the most stacked rosters in the game and continue to screw ourselves over. Like, oh,
Yeah.
dude, this is why I think it's more painful to be a Vikings fan than almost any team in the league. They make us think they're good, and every single year just suck.
I think you need to change that coaching too, honestly. I don't hate Zimmer, but the fact that you're constantly in this cycle, and it's been this way since he got hired back in 2014. So, like, if you constantly change the roster, it has to be the coach. It has to be the coaching that you're constantly in this cycle.
Yeah, well, Zimmer is from like the 1980s. I swear
Yeah,
he won't do-
he's very old fashioned. Run first, run on first and second down, then play on or pass on third.
Oh man, it's just
Yeah.
so frustrating. I'm sorry I'm rambling. This gets me a little
It
heated.
makes for good content.
It gets me a little heated. Kirk Cousins is garbage. I'm sick of him. He,
But he had 350 yards passing.
yeah, he had 350 yards passing and 200 of them in the final.
A lot of them were
I mean,
checkdowns.
Yeah, he's certainly not without blame, but the whole team, they couldn't do it. They couldn't beat the Bengals on the road. And now after what Kyler did to the Titans, I fear we're just gonna get sliced up even worse next week.
Dude, we're starting 0-4. I
Hey,
almost
considering
guarantee
how
it.
inconsistent your team is, there's a possibility that they could just come out there and embarrass the Cardinals.
You know what? They will. And then me and Brett will come on here being like, holy smokes,
Hell
we
yeah.
overreacted. We overreacted. We're going to the
we
Super Bowl.
overreact. We're going to the Super Bowl. Kirk Cousins is good again, and then we get embarrassed by the Seahawks at home for a home opener.
All
And
these
then we
narratives about the Vikings that you guys are creating is making me super hyped to see that Browns Vikings game at US
Oh
Bank.
my gosh.
oh, that'll be a shit show. I can't.
I can see it. I can see it. You guys are gonna be like, oh, we're gonna get our asses kicked, and then watch it'll go into overtime or something like that. Come down to the last play, kind of like
We
that
probably
game
will.
on Sunday.
Let me. Yeah, I'm sorry. My thoughts on this part of the podcast have been very unorganized. I get heated with the Vikings.
It's
But
fine. It's fine. I'm sure I'll be the same way when Cincinnati finds a way to lose to Chicago or something stupid like that.
But yeah, let me just finish off my thoughts. After this, I promise I'll shut up. The only time I've ever been happy, like truly happy as a Vikings fan, was when we beat the Saints in the playoffs twice, both in heartbreaking fashion. Those are our only good memories to look back on. All right, I'm done.
Yeah.
You take pleasure in drinking Saints fans' tears, huh?
Yes, until
Oh yeah,
freaking
definitely. Yeah.
Sean Payton.
Yeah, until
Yeah.
Sean Payton is gone, I can't respect the Saints.
Let's just take a moment to appreciate though. Throw out the winner of the game. That was a great game to watch though, at least for me, because I know the Vikings didn't win and there were a lot of stupid penalties, but it was a really competitive game. And the fact that it took basically all of overtime to decide who the winner was, that was, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better way to start the season.
I guess
Yeah.
it was a good game.
It was entertaining. The penalties, obviously, just to keep
Because
going back to that. But yeah.
I told you that Cincinnati and Minnesota, we've been around for, you guys, or the Vikings have been around like 8 years longer, but Cincinnati's been around for basically 60 years. And these teams have only played each other 14 times in those 60 years. And out of those 14 times, I think this is like one of, if not the only time it was competitive. Because usually, looking back at the history between these two teams, it's always a blowout whenever these teams meet. Because it's usually one team is good and the other one's dog shit. But
Yeah,
this is like the fact that our teams not only played each other in week 1, but it was a close game that took all of overtime to decide. That was fantastic to me.
You know,
Like,
fair point. Fair point.
You can't ask for a much better situation than that. And we're not gonna, because of the division cycle, we're probably not gonna play each other again for another 4 years. So, for a game that happens once every 4 years, that was pretty awesome.
I respect that take. Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. That's fine. I guess another small kind of storyline that came out after the game I thought was kind of funny. This kind of ties to your take on Zach Taylor, Thomas, how he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, I despise him.
He
Bill O'Brien
so our
2.0.
center our center, Garrett Bradbury, he he thought he was a player this going into this season, and he said in an interview, he said that we know that Garrett Bradbury's never played in a packed stadium, so we knew that with the crowd he would be uncomfortable and the snap counts would be weird and all that. But Bradbury is in his third year, and he played in a
He played in
playoff game that
college.
we won. He played college, but he also played pre-COVID in a playoff game at the Saints. So it's kind of
I'm not defending
funny,
him.
but
I'm not defending that moron.
it's
He's
funny.
like Bill O'Brien 2.0 to me, because instead of fixing the fucking offensive line, he just rather put his thumb up his ass and pretend like everything's good.
I mean, what does he think? Where does he think we found Bradbury? Did we just like pick him up off the side of the road one day? And
I mean, to be fair, Bradbury's been really underwhelming, so it's fair
yeah,
to assess that he's just some bum we threw in at center. So,
true.
but yeah, I thought that was funny. It's also kind of embarrassing from the Vikings' perspective because the opposing coach disregarded your center or just like your whole offense, basically your whole offensive line like that, just because you thought the center never played in a packed stadium before.
Gosh,
And
that is so many levels of stupid.
I'm not
Yeah.
defending that guy. I don't like him any more than you guys do. I probably hate him more than you guys do.
You probably do.
I'm sure you do, but it was just funny.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Sorry, go ahead. Go
we,
ahead.
we better get a move on because we still got a bunch of games here to go. So
Yeah, let's move on.
great game. I think it was a great game. It's like only one of two that went into overtime this entire week. But moving on, we have the Jets and Panthers. I didn't see much of it, but I know that obviously Panthers winning means Sam Darnold got his revenge. That and the score is a lot closer than what it actually was because the Jets were getting their ass kicked for most of the game. And Zach Wilson, kind of like Joe Burrow last year, was running for his goddamn life because he had no offensive line helping him.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, Darnold got his revenge against the Jets, the team that many thought like Adam Gase just kills quarterbacks. They used
The
to call him
quarterback whisperer, yeah.
Yeah, but he just made Darnold that like one comment he made a few years ago about like seeing ghosts or whatever on like that Monday night game.
Yeah.
That was funny. But yeah, I mean, it's the Jets. They're still not a great team. Their offensive line, they have some nice young pieces, but overall they still got destroyed by the Panthers pass rush and Zach Wilson for his rookie debut. I guess his stat line doesn't look too terrible, but the one interception, that's expected. But he threw 2 passing touchdowns, I guess. But yeah, I didn't really watch much of this game either.
At that point, it was in garbage time.
Yeah,
I mean, I
figured
guess
probably.
you could kind of get on the Panthers for letting them get back into it. But
yeah,
they were dominating most of the game, from what I saw.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add. I guess I'll just say Wilson looked pretty good. I mean, nothing.
Garbage time.
Yeah, true. So, I mean,
Yeah.
I got really nothing else to say or add to it. So,
Okay, so moving on, we had another legitimate shocker like the Bills and Steelers. The Cardinals crushed the Titans 38-13. What the hell was that, Tennessee? What was that? I could see the Cardinals winning just because of how bad the Titans defense is known to be. But the fact that the Cardinals defense absolutely stomped on Ryan Tannehill and Derrick Henry, was like, am I in a different universe? Am I in a different dimension?
I mean, that Cardinals defense, we know how great Chandler Jones is, and he certainly showed it. With five total, 3 in the first half, and 2 of his 5 sacks were strip sacks. So he just completely dominated the game. Yeah, I was not expecting this blowout. Derrick Henry could not get anything going. The Cardinals showed up they have a lot of veterans, and Kyler's an exciting young quarterback. So it's fair to assume that they can be a competent, competitive team. Like I think we all kind of predicted the NFC West teams could be playoff contending teams.
All of them are 1-0 right now. Should mention that.
Yeah, they all. Yeah. So certainly wasn't expecting this outcome, but I guess the Cardinals, they kind of maybe proved some doubters that they could be a threat maybe this year. So
Yeah, oh, sorry, go ahead, Tom.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
But yeah, all I gotta say is so we all know how good the Cardinals offense is. Kyler Murray's just insane, and they've got D-Hop, and so I don't really need
They
to
got
talk about
this
them.
guy.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They got
Did he
him.
even do anything?
He had
I don't
like
think
2
he did.
receptions for 25 yards. So basically, not really,
Nice.
no.
But yeah, their offense aside, I have never seen somebody on defense carry the entire defense as hard as Chandler Jones did.
Now,
That was unbelievable.
this makes me
That
wonder, I don't remember if they did, but did the Titans lose some like O-linemen in the free agency this past year or what? Because like the fact that he not only did Tannehill get sacked how many times, but the fact that Derrick Henry couldn't get going either, that's pretty alarming.
I know. I'm pretty sure the Titans that their starting left tackle Taylor Lewan was he had Chandler Jones the whole game and he was just eating him for breakfast. And I know they got the Cardinals. That D line is pretty solid, even though it's kind of got some age to it.
Did J.J. Watt do anything? Because yeah, like I'm sure you're gonna say J.J. Watt. They got him too, and I don't remember him doing a damn thing. It was all about Chandler Jones.
Yeah. I know they have some nice young like linebackers. Their past 2 first-round picks have been on linebackers, I'm pretty sure. And then they got Buda Baker, who's a really nice young safety. But overall, that defense is pretty veteran, and they just completely stopped the Titans. They couldn't do anything in that game.
Wait, Brett, what was the name of the offensive lineman on Chandler Jones again?
I think it was Taylor Lewan, 77.
That dude's like an all-pro, isn't he? I might have to look that up.
He might have been an All-Pro or Pro Bowl left tackle. Yeah.
All-pro. But yeah, when it comes to like Derrick Henry, I'm not too concerned because last year he just had like a few horrible games just out of nowhere with no explanation. So
Yeah.
like I think that just kind of happens with him every once in a while. So with the Titans, I'm not like terribly concerned overall, honestly. I think they'll be fine.
Still, like just completely lay an egg like that in a game you're favored to win handily. It's like what the hell?
It's disappointing. But yeah, anyway, yeah, Luan is a 3-time Pro Bowler, and so I don't know.
Yeah.
Must be on another level.
I don't know. Anyway, should we move on to the next game?
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
Don't have much out.
Next on the list here, we have the Browns at Chiefs. This was wild. Unfortunately, the people I was watching the games with at my kickoff party wanted to watch the Packers and Saints, so I missed a lot of this game.
That's a shame.
I know that the Browns were up 15-3 and 22-10 at halftime, so they had like two score leads, and then basically a muffed punt, or the punter muffed the snap, and that's what allowed Kansas City to basically take control of the game. But otherwise, although the Browns lost, it was like one of the most valiant losses you could see from a team, considering they were controlling the game for the most part until like the late fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You can go ahead, Jay. You can talk first.
Oh, sure. So yeah, first of all, about the Browns, I'm just really impressed with them overall, and I mentioned it last podcast, but props to Stefanski for turning them into a winning, like turning their whole attitude as a team around to like a winning team,
Yeah.
Anyway, when it comes to Kansas City, if you're up 2 scores on Kansas City, you might as well be tied with them. They are one of the best
That's a
come
good
from
point.
behind teams. Mahomes is one of the best come from behind quarterbacks. Like you're never safe with these guys. So like I can't even put this on the Browns. The Chiefs are just insane. So
Yeah, that's true. The have the lead the Browns did, and I mean to blow it against the Chiefs, like you say, Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and then one of the best come from behind quarterbacks with all the weapons the Chiefs have with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce, um, Clyde Edwards-Helaire out of the backfield. It's a unstoppable force, and they showed that with this comeback win. And Baker had a chance on the final drive to come back and get it's only a 4-point lead for Kansas City, but I think the Baker threw the interception to former Viking Mike Hughes, so that sealed the deal for the Chiefs. But yeah, it was a really great game. It's unfortunate that the Browns just couldn't come out on top because I'm kind of more leaning towards the Browns this year. But
I
yeah.
agree. They might be in my division, but they're like the one team in my division that I have a soft spot for.
Yeah,
for
sure.
And in the end, they showed that they can beat the Chiefs. So if I'm a
I
Browns
think
fan,
they
I'm happy.
can, definitely. Like, if these two meet each other in the playoffs, I would not be surprised if the Browns win.
Yeah, same.
So, moving on, we have the Dolphins at the Patriots. Let's just take a moment to thank the football gods for having the Patriots lose. Fuck you, Bill Belichick. Fuck you, Bob Kraft. Fuck your team.
Feels good,
Yep.
man.
It feels good that Patriots dynasty it's I mean I'm not going to completely because
I was gonna
Belichick's
say,
still
don't you
around.
dare jinx it. I want them to see
Because
them win the next 16 games.
because since Belichick's still there, you never know. But without Brady, this dynasty is certainly seeming to come to an end. So that's good for the AFC East for sure. So
It's pretty clear to me who was the reason behind their dynasty. People always debated, is it Belichick or is it Brady? Well, now we know.
Well, okay. I'm not gonna jump into that headline. I don't think Brady carried that dynasty. I really don't. I think the reason they lost, yes, but it was a pretty close loss. I think Mac Jones looked okay, and
yeah,
I don't know. I hope to God the Patriots are not going to be a playoff team this year, but I think they're going to do better than they did last season. Just because they have a lot more than they did last year. But I'd like to talk about the Dolphins a little bit more because Tua Tagovailoa is still kind of iffy to me. Like, sure, he had two total touchdowns, one passing, one rushing, and a pick, but he just doesn't, watching him play, he doesn't show a lot of poise in the pocket. He's constantly jittery or moving around, and it makes me uncomfortable watching him just because of the lack of poise he has. He also likes to force a lot of throws down the field, and I don't know if that's his fault or the offensive coordinator's fault, but obviously it's not a good thing. Especially Tua in college was never the guy to throw down the field. He was kind of like Brady, where you dink and dunk, and it's hard to watch him try and do that because it's just so bad when he tries to force it down the field. But anyway, what are your guys' takes on him, or the Dolphins in general?
Well, I'll speak on Tua first. I guess it's kind of weird because it's kind of a weird thing to say, but I feel like since he's a left-handed quarterback, it's kind of weird watching just
Go
that.
lefties! Yeah, I'm left-handed,
Because
so I appreciate any quarterback that's left-handed. Even though I'm pretty sure he's the only one. Sorry, I keep
I think
interrupting
he's
you.
no, you're good.
What?
Because yeah,
What,
I'm
Brett?
pretty sure.
What?
I'm pretty sure
Huh?
he's the only left-handed starting quarterback in the league, so that
Yes.
might be kind of also why
I
it's
think he's
weird
the
to
only
watch him.
left-handed
Great,
in
in my
general.
opinion.
What? What?
Tua's
Oh,
overrated.
Sorry, Brett. Say that again. I couldn't hear you over my own voice.
I didn't hear. Wait, Jay, what did you say?
No, I was just interrupting Brett.
Oh, okay. He is the only
Yeah,
left-handed quarterback in general, I believe.
yeah. So that's probably kind of contributes to why it's kind of awkward watching him play. His play style is kind of a little annoying to watch. But I mean, they got the job done. They beat New England. I do like Miami's situation. I mean, it's just kind of all comes back to Tua though, if he can be that guy, because you have all these rumors that even though the Deshaun Watson situation's kind of touchy right now with the allegations still going on, there's rumors that the Dolphins were trying to trade for him, and they don't really believe in Tua. But I do like their head coach Brian Flores. He's from the Belichick tree. He and Mike Vrabel are really the only success stories out of that, because you got like Matt Patricia, who's a failure, and others countless. Bill O'Brien, obviously. So,
Josh
but yeah,
McDaniels. Don't forget Josh McDaniels.
Josh McDaniels, another big one. But yeah, I like Miami. I like some of their key contributors on both sides of the ball. On defense, you got Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. Offense, you got Tua is fascinating. I hope he can do well in the NFL. It's just kind of all up to him and that support system he has. And I do like their running back, Myles Gaskin. But yeah, I don't know what to really expect from the Dolphins overall this year, but they at least got the first win
They
against a
beat New
tough
England.
opponent.
Yeah.
They
Fuck the
beat New
Patriots.
England. Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck them.
Yeah, Tua was being such a high prospect like he was. I thought he was pretty lucky to end up on such a solid team like the Dolphins. So I think he's got the tools to develop into a good quarterback. He's just not quite there yet, and I think he will get there. He's got a lot of potential. He's a talented dude. Um,
Mm.
so yeah, and who knows what'll happen with Deshaun Watson, but overall, I'm pretty high on the Dolphins. I think they're a solid team, probably a playoff team this year.
Okay. Moving to the next game, we have the Broncos and the Giants. I'm kind of like the football team and the Chargers game. I didn't really see a lot of this one. I know that the Giants were winning at one point, like 7-0 or 7-3, and then the Broncos, Teddy B and the Broncos just completely took over. I think there was a
Yeah.
fumble or something. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't see a lot of this game.
Yeah, I didn't either. I know Jerry Jeudy got injured.
Yeah.
And yeah, the Giants did have a brief lead at one point, but then the Broncos just came back and kind of just maintained that lead. Saquon didn't do like anything at all. Looking at the stat line, they must have held him in check. Um,
How
but
did
yeah,
Danny Derp do?
his stat line reads 22 of 37, 267 yards, one touchdown. So
I was gonna say, with all those receivers, he better start lighting up the skies here, especially Kadarius Toney.
yeah, it's a head scratcher pick. I guess not really this game, but just to speak about the teams. I know the Broncos, their defenses should be really good this year. They got a lot of nice talent on it, and then their offense just kind of revolves around if Teddy Bridgewater can game manage enough for them to get wins. So yeah, I don't know. And then the Giants, I'm not really high on. I don't think Daniel Jones is going to be the answer for them long term. So I don't. They're kind of just desperate, I think, hoping he can be their next quarterback, but I don't think he will be. So
Yeah, they completely overdrafted him back in 2019. Was
yeah,
projected to go as late as the third round, and then Dave Gettleman and the Giants thought it was a good idea to take him at 8th overall.
Yeah, that was an interesting pick.
Now, I know you guys are going to get a kick out of this next game. The Saints thrashed the Packers 38-3. Now, I know you guys hate the Saints, but I get the feeling that you still enjoyed this game somewhat. Aaron Rodgers came out and looked like shit, while Jameis Winston came out and he truly was balling. He was balling.
Famous Jameis, baby, cooking up some touchdowns. Not
Yeah, no more tasty turnovers. He was baking some touchdowns.
yeah.
You could really say that he was balling.
You know, as much as I hate the Saints, Jameis Winston might be the guy to turn me
He's a
around on this
likable
team.
person. He's a likable player.
He is.
Yeah.
He threw for 5 touchdown passes, but what I find crazy is though he did throw for 5 touchdown passes, he didn't even have 150 yards passing. I don't know how you do that, but famous
Yeah,
Jameis
and
found a way to do it.
it's crazy. His stat line is crazy. He threw the ball 20 times. He was 14 for 20, 148 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's just a crazy stat line. I'm pretty sure he's the first player. I think I saw something after the game that he was the first player to have 5 touchdowns and have not have 200 or more than 200 yards passing. So
did you see that? Did you see that that interview that they had with him where he's like, It was like what my offensive coordinator or whatever was saying. What was it he said?
He just told us to be prepared.
Yeah, he just told us to be prepared.
It was really
Yeah,
good. The reporter said, like, what did the reporter ask him?
I can't remember.
I don't know. I just know he's like, like the one thing my trainer told me. He was like, "What did he say?"
Yeah, what did he
he's
say?
like,
He just said be prepared.
Yeah, such a lovable guy.
It made it funny because like his initial answer to whatever the reporter was like, how did you guys end up winning this game today, or some generic question like that, and he's like, oh, we were just prepared, and then he told about what his trainer told him. So
Now, on the other side of the ball, the Packers and Aaron Rodgers looked like complete dog shit. Aaron Rodgers threw for 2 picks. I don't know if he even had 200 yards passing. No, he didn't.
might have.
He didn't even have 150 either. He had 133 yards passing, 2 picks, and went 15 for 28. And that second, I don't know about you guys, but boy, when I saw him throw that second interception, I'm like, Jesus, this is just terrible. Because that second interception, he just thought it was a good idea to chuck the ball downfield into double coverage. And I think they took it it didn't matter because they took it all the way back to inside the Saints or the Packers 10, if I remember. Now, I have a theory at why he played so bad. It seems that whenever Aaron Rodgers plays in extremely hot weather or Florida, they just play like shit. Because they brought up a thing after the game was over that Aaron Rodgers is 3-5 in Florida.
wow.
Yeah, maybe he just can't handle the heat. I don't know.
Yeah, it was really weird. He's the MVP last season. Maybe he's not in the right headspace after all that
I thought about
offseason
that
down there.
too. After all the drama that happened over the season, is he just gonna kind of like a player after getting a massive contract, just play like shit afterwards?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'll take it because. Sorry, Brett.
Oh no, I was just gonna start saying that. Yeah, this game was just very shocking. Not expecting a huge blowout like this.
Not at all. And
I
the
thought
worst
it
part,
maybe.
you know what the worst part was? Is I'm watching this with a like week 1 watch party, right?
Mhm.
And I wanted to like start laughing and whatnot because although I don't hate the Packers as much as you guys, I really don't like them either. I was just having a blast watching them get destroyed, but I couldn't show that or laugh or emote at all because there were like 2 Packers fans or 3 Packers fans sitting right next to me, so I had to do my best to contain it.
If I were you, I probably would have still just laughed. So good on you.
Honestly, I preferred to watch the other game, the Browns and Chiefs, because that one was actually interesting, but oh well.
Mhm.
I got to see the end of it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
what Jordan Love came in. He
5 for
looked
7,
okay.
68 yards.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
looked,
pretty decent.
he's the future. This is probably Aaron's last year in Green Bay.
Well, I
I
mean, if he
guarantee it.
keeps playing like that, it's definitely going to be his last year.
I mean, even if they make the playoffs, I think he's done with Green Bay. He just this year he was like, I'm just gonna show up for work. This is gonna be his last dance, so to speak.
Well, it's
And
not
whatever
off to a
happens,
good
happens.
start. Definitely not
It's
off to a
not
good
no.
start.
Yeah, and I mean, as Vikings fans, I'd like to see it that
And
the Packers might finally start sucking again. If
yeah, which would be great because then that would open up the door for the Vikings to sneak
Or the
into the
Bears.
playoffs.
Well, never mind.
Despite I'm expecting the Vikings to have a pretty mediocre record, but if the Packers are to suck this year, maybe that'll get us into the playoffs. Who knows?
Possibly.
who
Now, I
knows?
was going to say the Bears, which I took it back.
Mm.
But I think that's a good segue into the Sunday night game. The Bears at Rams scores 14-34. I mean, I think it was a lot worse than that if you watch the game because the Bears looked like shit. First of all, I want to mention that their starting quarterback, the Bears, for now, Andy Dalton, when he has his helmet on and his chin strap under, all it shows is like a bar or a handlebar mustache, and it's like really bright orange. So
Cheeto
it looks
man.
exactly like he looks like somebody who ate too many Cheetos and then didn't clean up his face. So from now on, I used to refer to Andy Dalton as Andy Dumpton, and now I'm gonna refer to him as Cheeto Man because until he shaves that beard, he is Cheeto Man. Speaking of Cheeto Man, he played like shit. He threw 2 picks. Oh no, only 1 pick. 27 for 38 and 206 yards passing. I mean, I guess it could have been worse, but that's not really that good either. And you know what really surprised me about the Bears in this game? I mean, obviously, I expected their offense to suck because it's the Bears' offense. But
Mhm.
their defense looked pretty bad too. Like
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
two of Matthew Stafford's touchdowns were just bombs over the middle. And the first one was just humiliating because not only were they completely beat the safeties for Chicago, but he fell down on the ground, the receiver, because he basically had to dive to catch the ball. And there were 2 safeties or defensive backs near him. And apparently they forgot, I don't know if they're rookies or what, but apparently they forgot that they weren't playing college football and that you have to touch the player down for the play to be over. Because after he caught that ball and fell down, he got back up and scored a touchdown because neither of them touched him. And they were standing right next to him too, so they thought that the play was over. So
Wait,
Wow.
so one of their safeties is Eddie Jackson, right? The Bears?
I don't know if I don't think he was one of them. I don't even remember Eddie Jackson
For the Bears,
being in that
yeah.
game. I know what you're talking about, but I don't remember. I don't think he was one of those 2. Maybe I'm wrong. One of them was number 4, which I still think that's stupid that defensive backs have single-digit numbers, but and I can't
I
remember
like
what
it.
the other number was, but I know number 4 was one of them. And they were names I didn't recognize because NBC does that such and such, the University of whatnot.
Eddie Jackson is number 4.
Oh my God. Oh God, that's stupid. 38 was fine. Oh well. Anyway, he's an idiot because apparently he's been in the league how many years and he doesn't know they have to touch the player down for the play to be over.
Yeah, one of the best in the league too. So
And
who
then they
knows?
gave up another bomb touchdown, I can't remember if it was the second or third quarter. But the Bears defense just looked awful. I mean, you just look at the base stats, like they gave up 34 points. Matt Stafford had 321 yards passing with 3 passing touchdowns. or I can't remember the name of the first name of the running back, but Henderson had 70 yards rushing and 1 touchdown. It's just the Bears defense, that's if anything's good on that team, it's usually the defense, and it just looked terrible. I'm glad though, because my team plays them next week, so I really hope they play that shit again and make Joe Burrow look like a god. So, also Bears, if you're listening, please start Andy Dalton. Please start Andy Dalton this week. If you start Justin Fields every week after, that's fine. But if you start Andy Dalton this week, that would make me very happy because it'd make this game a lot easier.
What if Andy Dalton gets his revenge and beats the Bengals? That'd be pretty funny.
I mean,
That'd be really.
Although we did give up 350 yards passing to Kirk Cousins, a lot of critical situations we did have good pass deflections. So I'm confident. I don't think Andy Dalton's that much better. I don't think he's better than Kirk Cousins at all. So I feel like we can do an okay job at containing it. I think we can contain Andy Dalton. Plus, our pass rush is a lot better than it was last year. So Bears' offensive line isn't exactly great. So if we can get Trey Hendrickson and Larry Ogunjobi in the backfield terrorizing him, that would help a lot too. Just whatever you do, please start Andy Dalton this week. And then you can start Justin Fields the rest of the season. I don't care, but you got to start Andy Dalton this week.
Real quick, I'm predicting another Bengals win, 2-0.
I want to say I'm really confident in my team this week, just because of how much they impressed me last week. But I still feel like because their coach is such an idiot, they can find a way to fuck it up. Plus, that O-line, our O-line is still bad. And although they didn't, I think they only sacked Matt Stafford once. I'm still kind of scared of Khalil Mack and Roquan Smith. So
Definitely.
I don't know. We'll see. But if their secondary plays as shit as they did week 1, then maybe it won't matter. Maybe the pass rush won't matter because Jamar Chase already be down the field. Was a pretty good debut for Matt Stafford.
Yeah, really good. Really good. I'm happy
for sure.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
And
glad he got to show his stuff.
But yeah, I didn't really watch too much of this Sunday night game. I did see some highlights of it, kind of, but yeah, on the flip side for the Bears, I don't know if Matt Nagy is their head coach going into next year. If the Bears struggle, even though they got this quarterback situation with Dalton and Fields, this is probably Nagy's last year as the Bears coach. As they try
More than likely, they'd have to make a playoff run to save his job, and I don't think if they play like they did last week, then I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
But.
Oh, sorry, Brett.
No, I got nothing else to add, so we can move on.
Okay, so with our last game of week 1 was
game of the week, I think.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, we had a lot of good games this week, but this was whoa. That's a really bad description, but Ravens at Raiders. I completely missed the first half of this game because I was in a class. But I heard somewhere that the Ravens were winning 14-0, and they let the Raiders claw their way back into the game. Unfortunately, when the game got into overtime, I rage quit it. I rage quit watching the game when Derek Carr threw that interception in the end zone because I thought there's no fucking way the Raiders recover from that. They had the ball at the 1-yard line and they found a way to fuck it up. So I rage quit. I come back and they won. I'm like, what the hell? This proves to every Lamar Jackson doubter that he really isn't that great. Me and Jay here are somewhat Lamar Jackson doubters, and this game really drove the point home because there were a lot of just basic curl routes or screens that he completely missed. Wide open receivers. Not difficult routes. He just missed it. And this isn't even mentioning the 2 critical fumbles that he had.
Yeah, and he made one good throw. Everybody freaked out.
Everybody,
And
yeah. This fucking, you sent the video in Discord. Jay sent me a video by a YouTuber who likes doing highlights for football, saying Lamar Jackson can't throw in quotations.
yeah, like mocking.
Wow. Yeah, I know. He's like mocking people. Yet apparently he missed the part where he was missing like curl routes and screens and hitch routes, wide
Just
open
the
to wide open
easiest
receivers.
throws. I don't get it.
Yeah, I think I still overall like Lamar. The way he can run with the ball is certainly crazy. He's probably the best rushing quarterback in the league.
That's fine and all, but when you draft a franchise quarterback, that's not what you want them to do. Because not only like even if you like rushing quarterbacks, that like because over the years like we've seen this happen with Ben Roethlisberger, how he completely fell off a cliff and like he just declined hardcore. See,
Yeah, I guess.
age is gonna catch up. Age usually catches up to you faster if you're a running quarterback because you're taking more hits than you would if you were just a simple pocket passer. Granted, pocket passers get hit a lot too by sacks, but when you're running, obviously you're going to get hit a lot more if you're trying to move the ball down the field by running.
Yeah, and for sure. And I guess like RG3 and Cam Newton are more recent examples too, as that as well of mainly rushing quarterbacks that kind of injuries and their careers kind of just tapered off and to nothing, kind of. So, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess I gotta respect the running game. Like it's definitely cool what he can do with his legs, but I'm pretty much in agreement with Thomas here. Defenses know what Lamar can do and they know what he can't do.
I feel like it's not that hard to expose their offense. If you just completely shut down the Ravens' run game and you force him to pass, like Lamar Jackson only seems to me to be a really good passer when he's already comfortable with the run, because obviously it's easier to pass if you can already run. But if you completely force him to pass and nothing else, then he does not look very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
What do we think of Derek Carr and the Raiders?
I can't get a good gauge, honestly.
Now, I have to give them props because that was a great effort getting back into the game the way they did. Should also give credit to the Ravens defense because they took a 3-point lead with like 40 seconds left in the game, and they allowed the Raiders to go down and tie it off of 2 passing plays.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah, I'm gonna just agree with you that you gotta give props to the Raiders for winning the game against a Ravens team that, albeit overrated, is still a good team. So, I think the Raiders, like if I were to predict their record, I'd give them like a 500 record, perhaps.
But you can't, because there's 17 games. You can't give them a 500 record.
Oh shoot, you're
they gotta
right.
be 8-9 or 9-8, unless you think they're gonna go 8-8-1.
In that case, I'll go. Oh man, it's tough.
I'd go 9-8. I think they're gonna be slightly better than last year.
Yeah.
I'd go 9-8. Anyway, see, I want to say that was a great effort by the Raiders getting back into the game, but at the same time, the fact that they had the ball at the goal line in overtime and they found a way to fuck that up was like, that I told you, I rage quit.
That's funny.
I stopped watching the game. I was pissed off because number one, I don't like the Ravens, so it makes me happy to see them lose. Number two, I have a soft spot for the Raiders just because my uncle's a Raiders fan. And the fact they had it at the 1-yard line and then a false start by Alex Leatherwood puts them back to like the 6. And then Derek Carr throws an interception in the end zone. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. How do you lose a game when you're in overtime and you have the ball at the 1 yard line. But I can't say that because they didn't lose the game. And thank Lamar Jackson for putting the ball on the ground.
Yeah, that overtime fumble, that was just crazy. And then basically 2 plays later, I think it was, is they go like all out blitz.
Yeah, because I think they were trying to push him out of field goal range, but they had the single cover. There was no safety help, so it allowed, I don't remember his name. I'm
Yeah.
just going to say number 7 to get free.
Yeah, it's like cover 0, no deep safeties, and then Marlon Humphrey just gets burned by, I guess, Zay Jones. I don't know who that is, but
who does?
he got the game-winning touchdown. So
those fans.
yeah, it was definitely the game of the week.
I was telling you guys that when I was looking at tickets when they first launched, it was like $1,000 for the cheapest tickets at that Raiders game. Well, I can say that those fans who coughed up that much certainly got their money's worth.
No
for
kidding.
sure.
Yeah, it was a good game. Really good game.
So, well, that is the last game of Week 1. Week 2 kicks off with the football team at the Giants, I think, or is it the other way around? Either way, those two teams are playing each other.
Yes, football team, the Giants.
But with that being said, how about we go through some really quick predictions of next week? I'll start. I think that the football team is going to upend the Giants. Well, actually, I take that back. I'm going to go the other way around. Not because I think the Giants are a better team, but for whatever reason, the Washington has not, or just can't seem to beat the Giants, because the Giants have beaten Washington the past 4 times they played each other.
Okay. See, I'm in on Heineke, so I'm going Washington football team.
Yeah, I think I'll take Washington against the Giants. Yeah.
So 2-1 Washington.
Okay, next is the Raiders at Steelers. As much as I want to see the Raiders win, after the Steelers' defensive firepower that they showed, I don't think there's any way the Raiders win that, especially if it's in Pittsburgh.
Agreed.
Yeah, I want to say the Raiders upset, but you're probably right. The Steelers probably take care of business against them. So, yeah.
Okay, so next we have the 49ers and Eagles. It's in Philadelphia. It doesn't matter to me. I think the 49ers are going to win that.
I'm going Philly, personally. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. I think he's going to show a lot of people what he's made of.
Can he beat Jimmy G?
I think so.
What about you, Brett?
I think I'm with you, Tom. I think the 49ers can win that game, despite their best efforts to try to lose to the Lions this past week. I think they can handle Jalen Hurts. Their defense will bounce back, and their offense is still good with the weapons they have. So, yeah.
Okay, next up we have the Texans at Browns. Browns hands down.
Browns.
Yeah, Browns hands down. I don't see any way the Texans win.
Browns. Yeah.
Okay, Broncos at Jaguars. Broncos because, I mean, the Broncos are still unproven, but the Jaguars played so bad against what we thought was going to be the worst team in the league that I think the Broncos are going to walk all over them. They're going to make Teddy Bridgewater look like a franchise quarterback.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'll take Broncos too. Yeah.
This one's kind of interesting. Saints at Panthers. Now, I know the Panthers are rebuilding, but I could see them putting up a fight just because I think the Panthers are better than they were last year. But I still think the Saints are probably going to win that.
Agreed. Saints for me.
I think it's risky after what the Saints did.
I'm losing you, Brett.
Yeah.
Packers, but I think I'll take the Panthers actually with Sam Darnold and Christian McCaffrey and beat the Saints.
Completely losing you.
Hello?
You got his prediction.
Am I like really?
Yeah, you're like freezing on camera, and your audio's slowed down.
Here, one sec. Let me turn on my data. and my Wi-Fi might be really slow.
We got the prediction though. I heard it anyway.
Yeah, you're better now. Okay, Rams at Colts. I want to say Rams just because I was not impressed by the Colts' performance last week.
Yeah, I don't think the Colts are probably going to need some time to gel with Carson Wentz, and the Rams are really solid, so I'm going Rams.
All right, am I back? Hello.
Yep. Rams
Okay.
Colts
Okay.
is where
All
we're
right.
at.
Okay. Rams Colts. I think the Rams will beat the Colts even if it's in Indy. So yeah, I'll take Rams.
Okay, kind of interesting. Bills and Dolphins. I'm actually now I know this might be a massive overreaction. Ah, man, I want to see the Dolphins win that. I want to see the Dolphins take that next step. I wouldn't mind if the Bills regress because I want to see Tua and the Miami Dolphins do something this year. So I'm just going to take the Dolphins, even though I know I'm probably going to be wrong.
Yeah, and losing to the Steelers, I don't think the Steelers are good at all besides their defense. So I'm going with the Dolphins too. A
Damn.
double, yeah.
Mm. I think I'm gonna go with the Bills, despite if I think Josh Allen will regress and if the Bills overall might regress. I think their defense is still solid enough to, I think, hold Tua, and Josh Allen should be able to win that game for them. I think so.
Okay, Patriots at Jets. Even though they're both kind of teams, I think the Patriots are still better. So unfortunately, I'm going to go with the Patriots.
Me too, Patriots. Yeah, Jets are just not a good team, and Patriots are average. So there you go.
Yeah, I'm taking the Patriots too. So
Okay, kind of a tough one here. Bengals at Bears. I'll let you guys go first on this one.
I already gave my prediction earlier, but I'll just reiterate. I think the Bengals take it. They're starting 2-0.
I think Andy Dalton gets revenge and the Bears win this game somehow. So I'll take the Bears. I think it won't be because of Andy Dalton. I'll say it's because somehow David Montgomery just pops off, unlike how Dalvin couldn't. But Montgomery probably just pops off, and
Now,
then
I would
the
agree
Bears.
with that, but the fact that Dalvin Cook is a much better running back than David Montgomery, and neither the Bears or the Vikings have a particularly good offensive line for run blocking, I want to say, oh God, should you ever predict your own team? Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I think Cincinnati pulls off an upset and wins in Chicago.
There we go.
Okay,
There you go.
this should be pretty clear cut. Falcons at Buccaneers. Buccaneers all the way. Absolutely. Especially after how terrible the Falcons played last week.
Yeah,
Kind of interesting
Buccaneers.
here. Vikings at Cardinals.
You go ahead,
Now,
Tom.
I don't want to completely give up on Minnesota like you guys have, but considering the Cardinals played so well last week, I think I'm just gonna have to take the Cardinals by like an inch.
Yeah, I agree. I don't really see a way the Vikings win this. And at this point, my bias is actually making it so I'm against the Vikings, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going with the Cardinals.
I don't know. It's tough. I want to say that the Vikings win and then they'll get our hopes back up again, but I think the following week, in the weeks coming up after that as well, we'll probably go back to reality and probably lose to the Seahawks and Browns. But I think they'll win at Arizona. So
Okay, next we have the Titans and Seahawks in Seattle. I'm probably going to go with the Seahawks. Not just because the Titans laid an egg, but winning in Seattle is not an easy thing unless you're the 49ers or the Rams.
Yeah, with Seattle's crowd back, yeah, it's going to be tough. And just basing my pick off of momentum, I think Seahawks take it.
Damn, would that be a thing to see the Titans fall to 0-2?
Yeah.
yeah, I think the Seahawks win that at home with Russell Wilson and that crowd. Yeah, that's gonna be tough. for the Titans.
Now this one is pretty interesting, I think. Cowboys at Chargers. That's a very tough one because I think they're both about the same as in being as teams.
I agree.
I feel like they're both playoff contenders, but I can't decide between which one. That's very difficult. I'll let you guys go first. Maybe I'll make a decision.
Yeah, I'm struggling too. Oh man, okay, I'm gonna go with the
It's
Chargers.
difficult, isn't it?
My gut feeling, like I can't use logic right now because if I do, I'm just gonna keep going back and forth. So I'm going with my gut, and I'm gonna say the Chargers.
All right, Brett.
I think it's a tough because that Cowboys offense was just electric. Dak was crazy against the Bucs, but I think I'm gonna stick with the Chargers and they'll win at LA with just Herbert. I think he'll manage to outduel Dak. It'll be a shootout. I think it'll be a high scoring game. So
Okay, so I was gonna initially take Dallas, I think, but they both have super good offenses. Dallas's defense is trash though, and I don't think the Chargers defense isn't really good either, but I don't think it's as bad as Dallas's.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Dad, but I'm taking the Chargers here. God damn it! You know what I just realized? I'm not gonna
what?
get to watch that. I think that's gonna be the more interesting game, and I'm not gonna be able to watch it because the Vikings Cardinals is gonna be the one on TV.
Oh.
Oh dang!
Another reason I hate the Vikings. Anyway,
I guess it's
what?
fair to mention. I think the Cowboys they got some injuries on their D line. DeMarcus Lawrence is out with a broken foot. He'll be out for a while. So
Yeah. Chiefs at Ravens. I'm definitely taking the Chiefs because after the stunt the Ravens pulled on Monday night, and the fact that Lamar Jackson's kryptonite seems to be the Chiefs, I don't see any way that it would be an upset if the Ravens did win to me. So I'm going with the Chiefs here.
Easy pick, Chiefs. That's all I gotta say.
yeah, easy pick, Chiefs. Yeah, the Ravens just have so many injuries and they can't beat the Chiefs. Lamar just can't beat them. So I'll take the Ravens too.
Okay, and our last game is
I'll take the
Lions.
Chiefs first. My bad. Sorry.
Last game of week 2, Lions at Packers. Packers. Although the Packers played like shit last week, I still think they're better than the Lions, so I'm definitely going with the Packers.
If this were almost any other opponent, I would take them over the Packers after what they did. But I gotta go with the Packers. The Lions are just garbage.
Yeah, I'll go with the Packers too. They just seem to destroy the Lions. So I think they'll bounce back and they'll beat the Lions pretty handily on Monday night.
Okay, with that being said, we are done with our week 2 predictions and just about wrap up this episode 2. Great week 1. I think it was a great week 1. A lot of great games, especially this one. But yeah, we'll see where it goes from there. Don't know if hopefully Cincy can pull off an upset in Chicago. I don't even know if that's considered an upset. And we'll see if Minnesota can upset Arizona.
That would be great. I'd like to see us
After what
both.
Arizona did last week. But yeah, we'll see you on the next episode.
Peace.
Yep. Peace.